Yo, today I'm going to show you how to make an epic toy for big boys, and it's a fiberglass longboard with one of my dad's finest golf balls infused in it. I hope he doesn't see. Also, if you're learning from a pro, over the past 3 years I've made many boards, and some of these are turned up on my channel. So please subscribe if you want your board to be as good as mine, and also it's a kind gesture. So now, let's get making. To start any longboard project, you want to have a rough shape in your mind. I recommend a pintail shape, as this is a really hard one to muck up, and it's just very traditional and looks really good. But if you want something a bit more fancy, you could do a fish tail or a drop through. Drop throughs are really good because you don't get wheel bite on them. My design was actually inspired from an aerial view of a seagull. See, Mother Nature knows best. Once you decided your shape, you want to choose a good length. 39 inches seems to be your average length, as this isn't too big or too cumbersome to carry on the streets or shops. You won't be knocking anything off the shelves. And 9.5 inches is a good width for a board, big enough for most feet sizes. Oh yay, we're now on a fun topic, wood. Literally any wood can be used for a longboard. I've got videos on YouTube where I made a longboard from a pine shelf that was covered in carbon fibre. I even made a longboard from padded wood and a chopping board from IKEA. See, anything can be used. If you can use a grainy wood like soprano or oak, I recommend making the board slightly thicker, as this will give it more strength and it won't crack as easily. Obviously some woods are better than the others. For example, sapele, maple, all very good woods because they're flexible and quite lightweight and strong, which means you can make your board thinner and also the flex. Now the wood choice is out of the way, we're ready to cut the timber. First, cut it to length, then width. Don't worry, I haven't got a table saw. You can buy planks spring-sawn from your timber shop, or just make a longboard from a whole plank of timber. That is possible. Once all the pieces have been cut, orientate them how you want your board to make sure you have enough wood for your template. I recommend a D3 water-resistant glue, as the glue joints are stronger than the wood itself. Clamp all the pieces together and wait 24 hours. Now the blank is dried, you want to chisel off any hard glue, this will make it plain easier. Put the blank through a thicknesser to flatten the board. Don't worry, you haven't got a thicknesser. I've used belt sanders in the past, planers, or even as a sander. To aid the gluing of a template, I put a centre line along the blank. Now I'm going to focus on the wheel wells. This isn't a necessary step, but it helps reduce wheel bite. This is where your wheels touch the deck and it throws you off instantly. First I cut a section off the deck, as when I router the wheel wells out, I won't see the template lines. But don't cut that part completely off, because the router would want to rest on the part of the wood to make it easier for you to router. Then router 6 to 8 mil deep. Don't worry, you haven't got a router. You could just rasp the wheel wells in or sand it in. We're now ready for the best bit of any longboard build. This is shaping. I just love shaping decks. It brings the character and life into the board. And also think just shaping it by hand with sort of like a spoke shave, it just makes the board look better. It sort of looks handmade, but still looks professional. And I just love the process of shaping the decks. It's beautiful. So the reason why I shape the decks is to get any cut lines out from a jigsaw and make it more even and the shape that you prefer. The next, finish the edges with a light sand with sandpaper. Then sand the remainder of the template off. In the plywood there are a few gaps, so use a 2-part wood filler to fill in any gaps I saw. Now I routed a side profile to the deck. I used a chamfer and round over bits on both sides to give it more of an aerodynamic look. Next, I raster wheel wells to give it a Formula 1 aesthetic. Then sand the whole deck with various grips of sandpaper. I finished at 400. and I wanted this deck to be my own. The best way to do that is customise it. I drew a mountain landscape scene, which will then pyrography and burn into wood later on. And I also put a golf ball in it as the sun. I drew around a golf ball, then I routed at depth. I used Gorilla Glue to glue the golf ball, as this will fill in any gaps. I started a pyrography of my custom mountainscape, then I branded it with my custom maker's mark. This isn't a necessary step, but it is if your board is very thin and you want good flex and strength. So we're going to start fiberglassing the board. I use super thin fiberglass because I wanted my customization to be as visible as possible. This will be easier for another person, so I got my dad to help me, as fiberglass is a bit fiddly when there's big shoots involved, and also I haven't really done it much. Start by mixing epoxy, then paint it on the deck. Then perhaps spray it about 5 minutes so it go tacky a little bit and see if it absorbs in the wood, then put more epoxy on the deck. Then lay the cloth on all the board and make sure it gets in any crevices or gaps. And also smooth it out with a credit card to avoid bubbles. I did 2 layers on the top because the top of the longboard is more likely to get tension. Now sand the whole deck, but don't sand all the way through the fiberglass, otherwise that'd be pointless. I sanded up to 400 grit. Then spray a layer of clear gloss lacquer actually, over the whole board to give it a nice glossy finish. Now we're ready for my magic grip tape technique. So basically, mask off the side of the board, put varnish on top of the board, then get a sieve, a kitchen sieve, and sieve sand on top of the board, on top of the varnish. Once the varnish is dried, take out mask tape, then varnish over the grip tape around 3 times. This grip tape will be super strong and will last a very long time, longer than factory grip tape. Oh man, now we're ready to drill trucks with the board. I recommend using the truck's drill holes as a template, and just make sure you do it straight. Then attach the trucks. Oh, we're finished. You're now ready to ride and have lots of ripped trousers and jeans like I have. So, thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. If you have any questions, please ask, and also remember to subscribe. And bye bye guys, love you.